Okay, the next thing I'd like to show you in RecForge 2 is how to make very basic audio edits. And I'll go through the things you can do with this app. It's a little bit fiddly, but it is possible to cut pieces of audio and also combine pieces of audio. So I've recorded something that is pretty silly, but basically it's a piece of audio and you'll see that it's in two parts.
Something. What should I record? This is part one of my audio story. Blah, blah, blah. And this is part two.
So my aim, I want to isolate part one and part two. So the way you do that is, if I want, that's part one there. If I want to isolate that part of the audio, I need to set an in point. So you drag this grey cursor to the start of your in point, and then also go to the end and drag the other grey cursor to the end. And I think that is the part that I wanted to isolate. Let's just have another listen.
This is part one of my audio story.
Sounds about right to me. So press stop, and then to isolate that, you click on the dot, dot, dot up the top, and you go to crop selection. And it should isolate this little bit here. Just be aware that the naming conventions are just numbers, and it can get really, really confusing if you just have a whole bunch of different audio files with a whole bunch of random numbers. You can't tell which is which. So I would recommend getting into the habit of starting to change the names of these files as soon as you start isolating audio. I'm just going to call this grab 01, just for our purposes. And then click OK. And now it's just isolated that particular grab.
This is part one of my audio story.
Now I'm going to go do that again and isolate part two now. So if I go back into the original, see there's grab one, that's what we saved. I'm going to go back into the original file and now go to isolate part two, which I think from memory starts about here.
And this is part two.
Okay, so I'm now going to drag that. Same process as before, you're just isolating this particular part. Click stop, click on the dot, dot, dot. Crop selection, give it another name. So let's call this grab 2. And just remember you need that full stop in the file. Okay, grab 02.wav, happy with that. And then click OK again. Okay, and there's number 2.
This is part 2.
So the last thing I want to do is I want to combine grab 1 and grab 2 together. And the way you do that, I'll go back to my menu. I'm going to start with grab 1 and click at the end of the grab, because I want grab 2 to go over here. And then click on the dot, 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 and what you can do is this word called concatenate, which should actually just be combine, but concatenate, and I've got grab 1 there, and all I need to do is press the plus symbol and select the next piece of audio that I want to go after it. In this case, it's grab 2. Click OK. And you can get as many different audio files as you want to combine and go one after the other. So I'm going to go from grab 1 to grab 2, click OK, and it should have combined both of them. Let's have a listen.
This is part 1 of my audio story, and this is part 2.
There we go. Just be aware that if you click on merge, which is what I thought it would be the option to combine two pieces of audio, it doesn't do that. Merge actually puts both the audio files on top of each other at the same time, which you might want to do if you're incorporating music, but if you're just working with the human voice, you don't want two different human voices playing at exactly the same time. So you have to select this option here, the concatenate. Once you've done and finished with your audio file, you just share it as before, dot, 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 share, and then you can upload it to Google Drive, Gmail, etc.